We're just going to wait another 2 minutes for people to, and then we'll get started. But yeah, thank you for joining. Now, and if other people join in, hopefully they'll be able to catch you both join sort of hydrogen integration in energy transitions workshop. So, sorry, why are we here? So the UK government has set targets of having 5 gigawatts of low carbon hydrogen by 2030. And their expectations are quite high. They're expecting that about 20 to 35% of the UK's total energy demand should come from hydrogen. So at the moment, we're producing about 27 terawatt hours of hydrogen. So that's 27 million kilowatt hours. When actually they reckon that for even the lowest forecasts of future demand, we'd need 250 terawatt hours of hydrogen by 2050. So that's about 9 times more hydrogen production than we already have. So a lot needs to happen in a short space of time as efficiently as possible. And so that's partly why HyAct has started. So HyAct is the Hydrogen Integration for Accelerated Energy Transitions. So the main players are Newcastle University. Their long-term mission is to provide open and informed scrutiny of hydrogen integration, to unlock new insights to hydrogen pathways, and to protect national energy resilience. So HyAct is a project that started just this year, but the intention is for it to continue over the next sort of 5-year time frame. And today, well, Community Energy Scotland have been asked to sort of speak with various different stakeholders about what their sort of relationship to hydrogen is and what they think hydrogen, what part hydrogen should be playing in the future energy mix. So today we're going to sort of have 2 main focus areas. So one is sort of on what are hydrogen pathways, so how should hydrogen be produced, what priorities should be considered, and how important is hydrogen in decarbonising the UK energy system. And we then have like a 10-minute break, and then we'll look more at what your organisation has in the transition to hydrogen use and what some of the main barriers and opportunities you think are, and if you'd be interested in developing partnerships. And then we'll have a quick wrap up. So there's 7 questions, and we're going to be using Jamboard. So that's what this here is. So we'll share the link to that, if you could do that, please, Leanne. Sorry. And you can sort of raise your hand to share views, or you can just add notes directly onto the Jamboard itself. And before we sort of go into that, it would be good to just have quick introduction from everyone. So I should have said, I'm Evelyn. I work for Community Energy Scotland, and I'm sort of facilitating the way. Leanne?
Hi everyone, I'm Leanne. I also work for Community Energy Scotland, and I'll be taking notes for today.
Jennifer, do you want to go next? I see you're on.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Schoberg. I work for the Shetland Islands Council in the Future Energies team, and we're currently working on the energy strategy for Shetland.
Brilliant. Nice to meet you. Raj? Do you want to introduce yourself? Hello, we've just gone through sort of what HIACT is. So basically we're here asking, we're going to pose a number of open-ended questions and get some of your feedback on them to feed into the hydrogen integration accelerating technology, sorry. I always forget, accelerated energy transition, sorry, and feeding back into that. So we'll move on to the hydrogen pathways, unless, and sorry, hello, I'm Evelyn. So hydrogen pathways are just basically ways of producing hydrogen. So there's sort of two main different routes, electrolysis, which is basically taking water and using electricity to split that into hydrogen and oxygen. So sometimes this gets called various different names. So you'll see here there's sort of green, pink, red, and yellow hydrogen. These names are not fixed, they're quite fluid, and they've changed quite a lot. So it'll be interesting to know what your understanding of some of these terms might have meant. So for today, we're talking about green hydrogen is when you're using electricity from wind farms to turn water into hydrogen and oxygen. Pink or red hydrogen might be using nuclear energy there, and yellow hydrogen might be when you're using solar panels. So then the other sort of big group is where you actually take methane and you turn that into hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So grey hydrogen is sort of when you take natural gas and you crack it using a method called steam reformation, and that's how you split into the hydrogen and carbon dioxide, and then that carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. Blue hydrogen is when you actually, instead of releasing that carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, you actually put it into a reservoir so that you're isolating it from the atmosphere. Black-brown hydrogen uses a technique called coal gasification, and to split that into hydrogen and carbon dioxide. And then turquoise hydrogen uses waste from landfill as a source of methane, and uses a technique called molten metal pyrolysis to split that methane into hydrogen and carbon dioxide. And you also get a solid carbon byproduct. So now that we've quickly gone through those, the first question is, which of these hydrogen pathways had you actually heard of before today? So what we'll do for this is I'll sort of say who's heard of green hydrogen, and if everybody can either put their hand up physically or use the reactions buttons, that'd be good. So if everybody could have a go at just putting their hand up now, so that we know it works. Definitely got one, that's great. Yeah, can you remind me how you can do reactions even?
Yeah. So at the bottom bar of your Zoom screen, yeah, you've got it, Kavish. You just right click on reactions, and then you can put kind of hands up, thumbs up, that kind of thing. Raise hand.
Cool. Okie doke. we've got two of you, at least they're definitely working with the hands, so we'll go with that. So rather than saying, have you heard of green hydrogen, I'm going to say, have you heard of hydrogen that's produced using electricity from wind farms? Anybody? One? Okay, brilliant. And how about anybody that's heard of using nuclear energy to create hydrogen? I'll get what? Yeah, two. Cool. And using solar power to create hydrogen. I'm gonna. Okay. One. Yep. And then grey hydrogen, so using natural gas and turning that into hydrogen. Yeah. And then actually doing something with the carbon dioxide, so removing it or not putting it out into the atmosphere. Cool. This one again. And then using coal gasification, so background hydrogen. Cool. And then turquoise hydrogen, so using waste from landfill as a source of methane. Brilliant. Got very knowledgeable in the room.
That's just the one for the last one, sorry.
I think so, yeah. Hello. So we're just going through a number of different questions and getting your feedback on these. So we've just gone through a number of different ways to produce hydrogen. And the next question is, how should the UK be producing hydrogen? So should we be using just specific methods, or do you think we should be having quite a broad range of hydrogen production types? So there's a Jamboard link in the comments. If you click on that, you can actually come onto this board and move these around yourself. So we can try, or I can just say go through them and you can let me know whether you want to. Brilliant. I'll just give it a few seconds. How about yellow hydrogen? So using solar power to create hydrogen. Cool. Hi everyone, I think we've got everyone, I think we've got some new people joining us. So we're just asking the question of, should the UK government be should the UK government be looking at a broad spectrum of hydrogen production, or should we only be looking at some types of hydrogen production? So I think so far what we've identified is the green and yellow hydrogen. So this is hydrogen that's using renewable energy to actually produce hydrogen. Yeah, that's a really good point. Do you think it varies sort of between like Scotland, England, Wales and Northern Ireland, or is it more of a urban, rural or solar or wind sort of preference? Okay. Have highlighted the global end sources of hydrogen, and that we shouldn't be looking at sort of using methane and producing hydrogen in some way that actually produces carbon dioxide. Cool. That's useful, thank you. We'll move on to the next question then, which is what priorities would you want the political, business and scientific community to consider when planning energy services? So really looking at what would you want, say, the UK government or UK businesses or scientific community, so the HIAC programme, what do you want them to consider when planning these energy services? So you can either unmute and just say, and we'll take the note, or you can put the note in yourself. Both is absolutely fine.
I was going to say, I think it needs to be a whole system approach, because that, like places like Shetland, where we've not got a grid connection, or we will have a big connection, but will still be highly restricted. That's going to be for like green hydrogen, but also looking at where you can use surplus heat for district heating and things like that. So it's not just the hydrogen, it's also how you can use the surplus energy byproducts such as waste heat. So it's not just about hydrogen.
Yeah, a really good point. What do you think? And do you think that that is like absolutely critical? You know, that be considered? Yeah. Okay. What about sort of cost? Is that something that should be considered critical or not so critical?
Well, it's pretty critical, but it needs to be, it's the same whole system thing you're using now. Using the cheap electricity to make hydrogen, and you don't want everybody else has to buy the expensive stuff and pay for all the additional infrastructure that might be required.
Yeah. And so would you sort of say that actually the whole system approach itself would also be looking at that reliability, so that, you know, we haven't got something that's, you know, going to be available part of the time but not other times as well?
Yeah.
And I think it'd be quite interesting, as you said, you're based in Shetland, so do you see that you know, there should be this a combination of sort of centralized and decentralized, so sort of like large power generation, large hydrogen production, and sort of smaller, more local hydrogen production as well?
Yeah, also looking at where you need to add value to it as well, whether it's hydrogen moving onto ammonia or methanol. What is the export, whether hydrogen or something else?
I'm afraid you're cutting out a little bit there for me, but Leanne, did you manage to get that? No. Sorry, Jennifer.
My headset is on.
Yeah, how much did you get?
Not much of it at all.
Yeah, it's about reliability and making. Yeah, sorry, I've not got the best internet here.
It's okay.
Yeah, it needs to be completely reliable, and also that it's coalition is they're not got lots of different sites across the whole of the UK. So you're looking to use sites such as Sullombo or the gas plant, or there'd be other sites in Shetland as well, in Orkney and the whole of Scotland and the UK. Is that the whole of the UK, or is it just for Scotland?
Well, they're sort of looking at the whole of the UK, but we are focusing on just Scotland, or rather we're...
I'll maybe just type my comments.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you, though.
I can take my comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you I'm trying to take notes, Jennifer, but if there's anything that I've not captured correctly, please feel free to edit them as well.
Brilliant. Mm. Yeah, I think we are seeing quite a problem with export and re-import. So yeah, it's a really good point. Okay, shall we move on to the next question then? Because there's quite a lot to think about in the next question. So what we're looking at here is how important a role do you think hydrogen should play or can play in a number of different things? So, for instance, in decarbonising heat in buildings. So the question here is, do we think that hydrogen must be used to decarbonise heat in buildings? Maybe not in all buildings, but it should be used, no? And then, well, if we're saying don't use it, then I'll just put it down here. And then decarbonising heat in industry. Don't know is also an option, but what do you think, Jennifer? Over here, or you can move them these yourself as well. We'll just give you a minute to just start going through them.
Yeah, because I would have electrification as the priority and then hydrogen as second, just for efficiency.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Leanne, take that note. Yeah, and then so the other axis is should it only be hydrogen that's used, or should we be using lots of different sources like electricity or ammonia or things like that as well?